Hey you, yeah you, they're watching the video. I'm the guy behind the camera, so really quickly I just want to let you know what you're getting into when you watch this video. Most of you know me as the China guy, but what you may not know is that I haven't always been in China. You see, years back I left China for a period of time and I went to live in Japan for about 4.5 years. Most of my memories of Japan are starting to fade. It was such a meaningful period of my life, so I needed to go back on this journey and retrace my old footsteps, revisit the places where I spent so much time, to make those fading images in my mind fresh and crisp again. And I wanted to take you all along to enjoy this journey with me, to retrace my old footsteps, to revisit a country that I love so much, the beautiful and amazing country of Japan.
Flight meal time. We've got chicken and vegetables with rice and more vegetables. And then we got a little bit of melon, we got a little muffin, we got some red bayberry juice, my favorite. I will be honest, this actually does smell pretty good though. Welcome to Japan, guys. That's right. We have officially left the land of the dragon, and now we're in the land of the rising sun. Well, guys, I haven't spoken Japanese in so long. Like, I used to live in Japan, so for me, it was a daily thing. But it's been years, and I don't practice anymore. And I just got my first little dose of immersion. I was at the currency exchange, and I was trying to speak with the guys, the gentlemen there. Their politeness really, I mean, I know how polite they are because I've lived here, but I haven't been here for so long that it really kind of caught me off guard. And wow, were they nice. But yeah, the guys there at the currency exchange, they were speaking to me. They couldn't really speak in English, and I tried my best to speak to them in Japanese. The words are there, they're floating around deep in my mind, deep in my brain, but I've got to pull them up from the archives. That was quite an interesting experience. We are here in Nagoya City. I'm just kind of fumbling through. I haven't felt this in so long because living in China, you know, I speak with the locals every day. There's no problems. Fortunately, I've lived in Japan before, so I do know how to communicate some, but boy, I'm not rusty. I'm like way beyond rusty. But this is a great experience. It'll force me to try to speak it and bring back some of it. Well, I did manage to get on the right train after some sweating. I didn't know if this was the right train or not, but I made it, and I asked the guy on here, and he checked my ticket, so I should be good to go. It's weird when you forget the language somewhere, when you don't know it, it really makes you feel almost helpless in a way. This is totally tripping me out. It feels like a completely different lifetime from when I was here before. This is wild. I feel so lost and confused, but I kind of like that feeling. It's kind of exciting in a way, but you got to make sure you got a big window of time because a lot of time gets wasted. But personally, I enjoy the adventure. It actually feels like I'm traveling again. It's been quite a while since I've had that feeling. I'm here taking the subway. I used to do this all the time, like nothing. It was so easy, but now, I mean, look, imagine if you had never been here before. And I mean, you could do it. The computer does have an English option on it, but you just buy your tickets from this little machine here. But it would be tricky, you know? It's weird. All this stuff is slowly kind of coming back to me. Yeah, I must look like such a gaijin right now. It's how they say foreigner in Japan. Gaikokujin. It's the equivalent of laowai in Chinese, but because I look so lost and confused. It's kind of hilarious, actually. But yeah, so you look at the map, and it, you know, there's a lot of stops, and it looks overwhelming, but when you break it down, it's not really. You just got to figure out what lines you need, see what station it is, and it tells you the price. And you don't have to necessarily select what station you're going to when you buy the ticket. You see what the price you need. This ticket right here is 210 yen, so that could take me anywhere. I don't necessarily have to go to this station, you know, that I'm planning to go to. Anywhere within this price range I could go. Well, I haven't seen this for a while. It's been years and years, but this is the subway platform. And when you get here, even if you're a first timer, even if you don't speak any Japanese, this is a map right here at the subway platform. It's got the English, and it's also got the lines that you would transfer to. It's definitely navigable, if that's even a word, even if you don't speak Japanese. All right, well, I just got off the subway. I've had taxi to airplane, high-speed rails in China, to 2 different kinds of trains here in Japan. And I just got off at a major hub in Nagoya City called Sakai. And I don't really have my bearings. I know I'm generally in this area for the night, but wouldn't you know, that's my welcome back. It's raining and I don't have an umbrella, so I'm gonna go buy one. Gotta find a little shop and get one of those, hopefully, I was gonna say a $10 umbrella, but hopefully it's cheaper than that. Hopefully they got the $5 special. There's the Nagoya Tower. Well, no luck with the umbrella yet, but you get kind of a cool view of Sakai on a rainy night. Not a whole lot of people out because of the weather, but a lot going on in this area. Well, I just got into my hotel room here in Japan. And even though in the past I lived here for several years, I was here for 4.5 years, this feels very new to me because I was living in Japan. I never needed hotels, so I have stayed in very, very few hotels. And usually when I did, it was the traditional type, like, you know, I'd go somewhere traveling with like the natural hot springs. So this is so different. I'm just walking in here. This is quite interesting. It's very small and compact, but it's got all kinds of stuff. There's a safe, got the water kettle. This is my new home. All right, you can see I got my little clear plastic umbrella. If you come to Japan, you'll see these everywhere. You can get them from any little convenience store. There's a convenience store on the corner there, straight ahead, Lawson. It's one of the mainstays as far as combinis go. And this one right here cost me $7. So it's the cheapest one they had. It's gonna be a one-day use only because I've seen the weather forecast for the rest of my trip. It's supposed to be sunny and nice every day. So this is just, you know, it's one of the costs of living. Pay the $7 and stay dry, or save the $7 and get wet. Your choice. I am absolutely starving. And luckily my hotel is in an area where there's no shortage of choices. There's a ton of izakayas around this area. Izakaya is like a Japanese style restaurant and pub. It's a little, usually they're small and they've got a bunch of, they got a lot of dishes. They come in a small size, but they've got some of the best food in Japan, to be honest. And of course, quite a thorough drink menu. Just want to let you guys see this area. This is a pretty happening area right here in Sakai. And there's not a space wasted everywhere you look. You know, look at that. These signs have like 20 businesses on the sign. So check this out. I'm out on the street, and then I come over to an open-faced building here, and look, there's this little interesting looking hallway with just businesses on both sides. Really small little places. I don't know how, no telling how small these businesses are. Probably like one room. But I mean, just look at these are all the different businesses right here in this building. It's wild, isn't it? Well, I was just out on the street and I found this little place. It's like a little, they call it izakaya. And it's as Japanese as it gets. And I think I got something I didn't really know. I think this is like intestines, but I'm gonna eat it. I think that's what it is. But there's others, so like daikon and an egg and a little kind of like meatball type thing. And of course you have the draft beer. I just had a really good dinner and I met some very special friends. And I'm not going to say their name on camera, but it's her birthday.
Welcome to Japan! Yay! Bye bye!
Well guys, just because we're taking a short vacation doesn't mean we get to stop the grind. So I'm out here. It's a work day. You can see all the salaryman, the businessmen out here in their suits, their tailor-made suits. And I'm out here getting the sweat in the heart of Nagoya City. Beautiful weather, beautiful day. Look at the blue sky. All I can say is this feels good. And the destination for now is a place that I think you guys are gonna like. I decided to take it to the small back streets because those traffic lights were killing me. It seemed like every time I got to an intersection I was catching a red light. You can't jog like that. So the area I was in last night, this is kind of how it looks in the daytime. At night it really comes alive. During the day it's a business area, and at night it really lights up. And a lot of crazy stuff goes down, I'm sure. I see a lot of advertisements for like hostess bars and spas and stuff like that. So, you know, there's some pretty shady stuff going on over here. Well, I just came across a park, saw a dude with a skateboard. I grew up an avid skateboarder. I still skate a little bit, but not as young as I once was. And let's just say the knees aren't cooperating like they used to. But yeah, I see the skate park. Show you guys. Hey, a female skater. Yeah, this dude. That's a nice skate park. Yeah, these little back streets are the coolest part because you just never know what you'll run into back here. All kinds of shops. And look what I just ran into. I was just running on the street and I ran right into this. This is an outdoor shopping area, it's just that it's covered. Vietnamese food. I just saw, oh, there's a kebab place. We got Turkish food. I saw a Brazilian restaurant back there. This is awesome. I really wish there were places like this accessible in China. I love areas like this, you know. And the food cooked in those little restaurants you just saw, it's gonna be authentic because it's gonna be, you know, people from those countries who have moved here and started a business. And I've had the food from some of those places before as well. We're headed to one of the main spots in Nagoya. It's an area called Osaka. It's a huge temple, very beautiful area. Really captures the essence of Japanese culture. You'll like it. We're almost there. So 1 minute you're just walking down a quiet little alleyway in Japan, and the next minute you're at a really massive, breathtaking temple. This is Osaka. And like I said, anybody who comes to Nagoya ends up coming here. And I'm gonna give you guys a quick look. I've been here, but it's been so long, you know, years and years. Absolutely beautiful. And you can hear the chant, the Buddhist chants in the background. So serene. And this is common with a lot of temples in Japan, or at least the ones I've been to. They tend to have these big open areas covered in gravel. And you can see this temple, it's quite a sight to behold, but it's just nestled right here in the middle of a community. I mean, you've got businesses and shops as soon as you leave it on all sides. It's just sitting right here in the center of this community. Pretty cool artwork over there on the building. You just can't beat it. Jogging through these little Japanese side streets. It's just so interesting. We're gonna jog through here. You can see those two kanji. Those are originally Chinese characters. Akamon, it just means red gate, and hence the clever name. It is a red gate. And this is where I wanted to take you guys. Back in the day when I first came to Japan, I didn't realize that curry was a thing. But Japanese curry is amazing. And this place specifically, Koko Ichiba, is just so good. It can get really spicy too if that's what you like. But I'm gonna go, I haven't had this for years. I love it. I'm gonna go in here and just stuff my face and show you guys what it's like. So this one in particular is really small. Like you can see, the seating area is very narrow. And then you order on this touch screen menu. And don't worry, you can select your language, Japanese, English, Korean, or Chinese. And voila, and you slide through and see what you want. I've had the food here before. Actually, my favorite one is seasonal, and since summer's over, they're not gonna have it, but they've got, oh, we've got plenty of good things. And my favorite one, if you can get it, is the summer vegetable curry. It's so good. But if it's not summer, don't worry, they've got plenty of other ones too. And you've got pork cutlet, breaded and deep fried with vegetables. And one thing that's pretty interesting, you can see the spice level. They've got regular spice. It starts at 1, 2, 3, just goes up. Let's see how high it goes. Spice level 20. I like spicy food. I wouldn't touch that because if I remember correctly, back in the day, I could get like a spice level 3 and be good with that. That's what we're gonna do today. So here's the one I got. I'm not usually a huge squid guy, but the way they lightly batter the squid here and fry it is so good. The texture of it is just really, really pleasing. And then I got the vegetable curry with cheese mixed in, spice level 3. And I put some of these little pickled veggies on the side. And I'm just gonna dig and enjoy this because I can just smell how good it is. Just amazing. One thing, when you go to a restaurant in Japan, or just when you eat at somebody's house, or even your own house, the custom is to finish everything. And look, I left one little grain of rice there. I mean, they literally clean their plate. Every grain of rice is eaten. Spicy level 3, but it looks like the spicy level goes up to 20. I got a 3 and that lit my ass up. I cannot imagine 20. Next time I come here, I'm gonna get 2 because for me, 3 was a little spicy. And I like spicy food. Now, obviously, after that huge serving of spicy Japanese curry, I'm not gonna continue jogging. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this opportunity to go to a kombini, got the 7-Eleven here, get a coffee, and just sip on the coffee while I walk back to my hotel. The perfect day. I've got my kombini cup coffee. It costs about $1 for this little cup. It's decent quality coffee though. And check out this building. That's really cool. I like that aesthetic. Very cool. Korean kitchen. One thing that I'm not really used to seeing is just walk into a convenience store in Japan and see these magazines with busty women everywhere and some more adult-friendly magazines. Something you don't just walk in and see in China, that's for sure. Now, one thing that's awesome about this little hotel, you wouldn't expect it from the outside, but in here, they've got a sweat gym, free of charge. And look, it's a nice small little gym, but look, we got the treadmill, the elliptical, the bike, and the weights. I'm just looking to hit a few of these weights, get a little resistance training, you know, got to work on the guns. It's not rush hour right now, but it is a work day. And I want to give you guys just a quick glimpse of what it's like. Rush hour would be insane. But this, still there's no shortage of people. I just got off the subway and I'm back to the very first place that I lived in Japan. So let me tell you, it has been at least 10, possibly 11 years since I've been where I am right now. And I'm retracing my old footsteps. I know it's right here. It'll take me a minute to figure out exactly where it is. If the building still stands, I think it will. It's just when it's been that long, you know? Because right now I know I've walked this street 100 times, well, more than 100 times. But even so, I still, oh, I think I see the building. What a crazy feeling this is. I really can't articulate it, the feeling I'm having right now. Max Value Supermarket, it's a good place. Just a grocery store. Really good place though. You know what's weird in my memory? I didn't remember there being like 3 or 4 convenies right around my apartment. But now that I'm here, I remember it. Oh, what a crazy feeling. It's quite emotional too, you know, because at that point in my life, there was just a lot going on. But also it's my first time coming to Japan, which had been a long time dream of mine. And this is actually the building here. This is the building where I lived. So yeah, this is actually where I lived, in this building right here. I don't even remember what floor I was on, but it was definitely this building. It doesn't even look all that familiar, to be honest, but I know the building's name, I remember it. I know for a fact it was this. Wow. Like I said, this is quite an emotional experience for me. but I'm glad I'm doing it. It's well worth it. Yeah, I remember there used to be a Turkish restaurant here, and I would eat their kebab. It was really, really good. But this was my first introduction to Japan right here. This is where I had my first job, made my first friends, started to learn the language, which now you wouldn't think so, but at one time I was fairly decent in Japanese. Wow. This was it. This was my old stomping ground. But one thing I need is an adapter for my computer, because it's a Chinese computer and it doesn't fit the outlets here. So we're gonna go to Kei's Denki, a place I used to shop from time to time. Well, I'm back again. Kei's Electronics right here. Well, unfortunately, was not able to secure the adapter. I thought a place like that would have kind of a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. There's the Nagoya Ferris wheel, and I'll tell you all right now, you will not find me on that thing. I've got a phobia of Ferris wheels. You can put me on any roller coaster, you can spin me around, flip me 6 ways to Sunday, and I'm good with that. I love it. But I do not like Ferris wheels because they're too slow. You can really feel when you're like way up, and it just scares me. We're not doing that. We're going to one of Japan's most well-known shops, Don Quixote, or as the locals might call it, Donkey. I've got a few shopping needs to take care of, and this place seems to have pretty much anything that you could need. You'll find Don Quixotes in different cities in Japan. I don't know if it's across the whole country, but it's definitely in at least several different cities. It's an interesting place. It's always got a lot. It's got a ton of stuff and a ton of people, always. And you never know what you'll see in a Don Quixote. I need to do some clothes washing, and I was looking for just a little bag of detergent, laundry detergent. In China, you can easily find it. I couldn't find it, and I'm tired of looking around, and apparently this bar of soap is okay for washing clothes. So I'm gonna wash my clothes in the sink in the hotel, and I'm gonna just see if they happen to have an adapter here, because they do have some electronics type things. My expectations are really, really low. I don't think they're gonna have it, but it can't hurt to take a quick look, right? You never know. If they don't have it here, I'll probably just give up on it. But you can see it's kind of like a maze in here. It's just got so much stuff, you can't really see where you're going. You know, it's like, what's behind this wall? What's behind that wall? They've got a pretty good selection, but they just don't have it. They've got some that look pretty similar, but just not quite right. So it looks like I'm out of luck on the adapter. Here on the top floor of Don Quixote, it's pretty interesting looking. These little lights. We've got a bunch of snacks up here, and something that caught my eye right over here, Kit Kats. I've never seen this many flavors. Ice cream Kit Kats, chestnuts, green tea, got lemon flavored, sweet potato. When I said this place has everything, I wasn't kidding around, they really do. I mean, they've got some actually pretty decent Halloween masks. I almost bought one. I think the skull and this clown are pretty good. And then, I mean, if you want fish, they've got an aquarium, you can buy fish right over here. And this is just right out front of the shop. And in the spirit of Halloween, they've got some Chucky goods. A little Chucky tote bag, free hugs, all dolled up. And I was just walking down the street and I found this little Mexican style bar, pub kind of thing, and got myself a Mexican highball and some, they call these nachos with guacamole, and the guacamole looks good, and the nachos, that's all you get. 3 big ones. And this wasn't exactly cheap, but I knew what I was getting into. I knew this place wouldn't be cheap. It's just a little snack. It's got a couple of soft tacos too. Got a fried chicken one here, and beef and fresh salsa. It's actually pretty good. I'm in Japan. I've got to have some sushi or sashimi, so I just found this place walking down the street, walked in, and had to get some fresh salmon sashimi and a draft beer. There you go. You can't come to Japan and not do it. It's just not an option. Hey guys, greetings from second floor McDonald's in Nagoya City. Just looking out over the Sakai area, and Just had a quick Mickey D's breakfast. I needed the Wi-Fi and the coffee, so it seemed like a good decision. But I just want to share one thing with you all. If you come to Japan, one thing you can be rest assured about is you're going to end up with a lot of coinage. And what I mean is, this is what I just took out of my pocket right here. A lot of different coins. They're big on coins here. I find myself most of the time with a heavy pocket. But this coin right here is worth about $1. This one right here is the big one. 500 yen. It's worth about $5. And then the rest are all smaller. 500 is the biggest one. So these are the two you really want to take care of. The others they're useful, but they're of much less value.
All right, guys, back here on another train. We're gonna take the JR line from Nagoya to Gifu. Gifu is actually a different prefecture, but it's also a city within that prefecture. So we're gonna hop on this. It's not too far of a ride.
I'm holding my head up. I'm not gonna cry. Tell them that I need her and that without her I would die. I'm not gonna argue. They won't listen to me. I'm just gonna stay right here under the poplar tree. Let me tell you a story. It happened this way. It was born out of longing in a man that's gone astray. I've been to the valley in the shadow of death. I've crossed many rivers wearing a scar on my chest.
The second stop on my Japan trip was Gifu City, located in Gifu Prefecture. I went from Nagoya City to Gifu, and the interesting thing about this city is that it's where I spent the majority of my time when I was in Japan. It's a smaller, less traveled place, but surrounded by beautiful nature. The train ride wasn't far at all. I was there in less than an hour. But going back to retrace my footsteps in a city where I spent so much time and have so many memories, this was really a sentimental trip for me, and I'm glad to take you guys along for the journey, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Welcome to Gifu City, everybody. I know for a lot of you all, this is probably your first time here. I spent a lot of time here, though. I spent damn near 4 years in this city. It's a smaller place, much lesser known in Japan. Hello, there's some Japanese students. What grade are you in? Nanansai. Gakko ni.
JK1.
Oh, JK1. And when you walk out of Gifu Station, bye. Have a great day. When you walk out of Gifu Station, you see this beautiful open area with the statue of Oda Nobunaga. I think I said his name right. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty, but I always like the atmosphere right out here at the front of Gifu Station. Now, Gifu is not a big tourist destination. A lot of people that come to Japan for travel, I would say the vast majority do not come to Gifu. But I tend to like these sort of quiet, smaller places. You know, places kind of off the beaten path. And I'll tell you, I really love this city. There's mountains all around. There's a lot of rivers here, rice fields everywhere. It's beautiful. I absolutely love this city. The first thing you smell when you walk outside of this station is donuts. Literally, it smells sweet and nice. It smells just like donuts. There's got to be a donut shop around here. Here's something you all might find interesting. They've got these smoking areas. We're outside and they've still got these specified smoking areas. Go in there, get a little corner, just smoke away. Fortunately, my hotel is really near the station, and just on the way there, I just saw this little side street, this little alleyway. I just love this aesthetic. I decided to drop by a bookstore to see if I could find like a little phrase book type thing, you know, kind of like a Lonely Planet phrase book. You never know what they'll have. I mean, they've got a ton of books, like dictionaries and things.
So I might pick one up if I see something that looks suitable. I could sure use it because I'm definitely noticing that my Japanese is coming back to me pretty quickly, actually. But I still run into a lot of roadblocks when I'm trying to communicate. You know, when you can't find the word you need and you don't have the vocabulary to find a roundabout way to express what you want to express, you're just stumped. You run into a brick wall, and then you revert to English and hope they can understand.
I just got off the train in an area where I used to work, and I found myself not even remembering whether to go that way or that way. But looking down the road, I believe I see a mini stop Kombini. That's a little convenience store called Mini Stop, which are prevalent throughout Japan. And if that's what I think it is, then that means it's this way. It's amazing how the brain forgets, you know? I've walked this street hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times. But yet, after all these years, I'm back and I'm just kind of confused, dazed and confused. But I must say, I'm so glad to be back. What a cool feeling. Look at the weather. The temperature, by the way, is perfection. I don't even know how many degrees it is today, but it's perfect. We're gonna take just a little detour. And instead of going straight, I'm just gonna make an extra square, go around a block just to walk through a quiet little Japanese neighborhood. I just find this really, really peaceful, and I mean, just look at the architecture, look at the style of the houses. It has a very unique feeling, very unique atmosphere. It's a little apartment block. You've got different families living in there. It's so different from China. And of course I've known that, but the reason I mention it in this video is because I left Japan a long time ago, and I've been in China for several years consecutively now. And due to the pandemic, I haven't left China in a long time. This is my first time to leave. So coming back to Japan, it really hits me. And look at this. Just nestled in the Japanese community. You don't hear any noise, no honking, nothing. The only sound I hear is the sound of birds chirping and the occasional car passing. Haven't heard one person honk the whole time I've been in Japan. Tell me this is not beautiful. You know, actually, even though I've walked that street so many times, which I can see from here, I've never taken this little detour. Believe it or not, this is my first time even knowing that this temple was here. I walked past it so many times, I was just a block away, and today I just decided to take a detour, and look what I was fortunate enough to see. That's why it's good to take an unfamiliar road sometimes. You know, Japan is a relatively small country in terms of land mass, but it's got a big population, and they do not waste space. Just walking down the street here, you see one little block. Well, they're growing rice here to utilize all the space. You can see the mud kind of moist, wet, cracking up over there. And I can see the grains of rice. And walking down this street, I can see it in my mind so clearly. There was a middle-aged Japanese woman that I would pass every single morning, and she would be walking a little brown poodle. And every time I would see them, that little dog just wanted to come see me and wanted me to pet it. It would freak out and start yanking on the leash, and that woman would start laughing. So it became a routine every day when I'd walk past her. That little dog had to see me for a minute and had to let me pet it and scratch it behind its ear. It was a great way to start the day. And it was because of that dog that I started to like poodles. I didn't previously like poodles, but because of that, now it's one of my favorite types of dogs. And I actually have a little poodle now, and it's all because of that little dog. And back in those days, I would always sleep as long as I possibly could. Had to get every minute. Not really a morning person, so I wouldn't have time to eat breakfast usually. So on my way to work, it would be this mini stop where I would pop in and grab a quick breakfast. I'll show you what I ate.
And what I would usually get, well, not usually, always, are these nikuman. In Chinese, it's a baozi. It's just a stuffed steamed bun. Well, actually, sometimes I would grab an onigiri, one of these rice balls wrapped in seaweed. I would get one of those sometimes as well. And also, now that I'm seeing it, these sandwiches as well. And of course, my favorite Japanese sports drink, the Pocari Sweat. The worst to name, but the best sports drink. See the mountain range in the background. If you look on top, there's actually a castle up there. We're heading out toward the countryside. Out to where I used to live. See all those rice fields? I really like this area because pretty much where I lived was surrounded by rice fields, and then when you look out to the distance, you just see mountains, and on the other side of those mountains, there's a really big, beautiful river. That's the train I was just on. It's headed out. Far, far away. All the memories are coming back to me. It pretty much looks the same. It pretty much looks the same. See everybody parks their bicycles up here, then they hop on the train, they go to work, and when they get back, they just unlock it and use the bike to ride home. Because I mean, this station, you can see it's for some of the people, it's a pretty good little distance just to get here, and by foot it might take a long time. So if you ride a bike, you can get here pretty quick, save a lot of time. You can tell these roads have just been redone because they are smooth, and you can just tell that it's quality. It's hard to say how, you can just see it and feel it. Because when they freshly pave a road in China, it feels and looks different than this. All rice fields around here. And I'll tell you what, one thing I used to like to do when I lived out here at night, I'd come out and just walk through these little country roads, and the sky would just be so filled with stars that were like so clear. I would usually crack open a drink and come out here and just walk, and it was so peaceful. Maybe to some of you it might sound kind of boring, but because from right here, there are no buildings blocking the sky, it's just wide open, you know? And it really fills with stars at night. Here's a traditional Japanese house with a Japanese garden. It's really cool out here because you've got the traditional homes. That's a single family unit. And then also you've got these little apartment blocks right out here. And basically this is the countryside pretty much. Modern looking, very clean. And as you're walking through, they've got these family graves, a little cemetery here. I don't mean to be disrespectful by filming this. I'm just trying to give you a visual of what it's like. All respect to the deceased. And we just continue onward along this little country road. I recognize a lot of these places, like that liquor shop there. I remember that. It's all coming back to me. You know, the sad part is I've passed that place 1,000 times. I've never once stopped in there. I got a lot of regrets, you all. I've got a lot of regrets. I took this for granted. I took it all for granted. Well, this is it. Interesting looking place, right? This is the building I lived in this little city of Gifu. And this big grass patch out front is just the same. I thought maybe they would have done something with it, but they've just left it. Oh, I've seen this thing flood pretty bad when it's rainy season, but... So I lived in one of those last apartments, and when I would open my door and look outside, look what I would see. I still love it, you know, the view, mountains. You open your front door and just look out. Just retracing my old footsteps. I've literally walked this thousands of times. And I can't even remember exactly which one was mine. But I know what was down here, roughly. Over here somewhere. One of these last ones. And I would just open my door, come out, and look at the view. And I remember right here on this little sidewalk was my first time in person to see a mukade, or a giant centipede. And those things are scary as hell. They're huge. And they pack a pretty serious bite, from what I understand.
Now here's an awesome looking home out here, you know, in the countryside. And I would say the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi applies to this. Simplistic beauty. You know, like this, the more simple it is, the more beautiful it is. And that's pretty simple, but it just looks fantastic. We're working our way up closer to the mountain, and I can see Aoki's Pizza is still here. I used to order that sometimes. It's actually pretty good. In Japan, they know how to make an actual pizza. They have the proper ingredients, and it was pretty good. And this was my little late night, what do you call it? Beer run. Sometimes if I needed a drink or something, I'd swing over here to this Lawson and pick up a couple. And I know you guys probably don't find this super interesting, but part of this is just I want to have a visual of it, because this place has just existed in my memory for quite some time, and the memory has been fading, and all the videos I made from back then are gone, and I want to have a clear, you know, kind of like record of it, a clear image of what it's like. I want to have it documented on video. A lot of it's for sentimental value, so I hope you guys don't find it too boring. And for old time's sake, I'm gonna grab one of these. This was my favorite drink in Japan. It's fairly strong, 7%, and it's called a chuhai, and this is dry. So it's dry. This is basically like sparkling water and shochu. No sweetness at all, no taste, and it's just really, really nice. It's my favorite canned alcoholic beverage, period, in the whole world. So, I mean, you can't get these anywhere but Japan. So I'm gonna buy one of these, and I'm gonna head over to the mountain for old time's sake. Now this temple right here is about a 10-minute walk from my old home. And I haven't been getting nearly enough sleep lately. I'm tired, but I've got the energy to do this, and I want to do this. I'm gonna go in here, and not only am I going in here, but there's a trail that goes up to the mountain peak. It's not a very high mountain. It's not a long hike, but I'm gonna do it. I've done it so many times before, and just wanna do it again. Recapture these, you know, these images, the scenery, and just reflect on all that's happened since I was here. A lot has happened. A lot of time has passed, and in my personal life, I've been through quite a lot. So I'm gonna really reflect and soak up this experience. This is 10 minutes away from my old apartment. I didn't take it for granted completely, because like I said, I've hiked this probably 10 times over the course of 3.5 years. I should have been doing it once a week. I mean, look how amazing this is. But when it's right down the road, you just take it for granted. That's what most people do. I'm only human at the end of the day, but coming back here after all these years, wow, what a place, huh? And like I was telling you, in Nagoya, like Osaka, they've got these big open gravel yards. This way leads up to a little shrine. Got the temple here, and the trail starts over here. There's a little place, I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe they wash their hands in that water before doing their prayers. It's a kind of a purification ritual. I believe that's what it is. I could be mistaken, but I'm loving this, you guys. It's hard to articulate how much this means to me. It's hard not to get emotional sometimes, to be honest. Look at this trail. I actually hiked this in the dark one time. One night I couldn't sleep. There's a sign there that says, "Watch out for wild boars." Well, there was one night I couldn't sleep a long time ago. And I said, screw this, I'm not gonna just toss and turn in bed. I got up and I came out with a flashlight. I hiked this at like 3 a.m. just to live a little. I've always been sort of an adrenaline junkie. I guess I'll never change. Hope you guys can hear the birds chirping. All the times I've been here, I've never seen a wild boar. So I don't think I'll see one today. And if I do, hopefully he goes the other way. We might have a fight on our hands. And I'm not sure I'd win that fight. Check this out. So I'm gonna crack open this drink, guys. In a sense, you all are here with me. We're doing this together. I had to do this alone today. I've got some friends here, but retracing my old footsteps, seeing where I used to live, going to areas where I used to work. I just needed to have the, you know, the personal space and time to just really absorb it and cherish it. And that's what I've done. And it was definitely the right decision. I knew this would be quite a trip, but it's been far more meaningful and touching than I even imagined. So cheers, guys. If you got a drink, crack one open. I'm going to, but it's hard to do one-handed, so cheers, everybody. Well, that was a workout. We just reached the summit. And now for the best part. And from here, I'm looking out to the other side of the mountain. And back there, you can see the river. Not sure I'll have time to check the river out on this trip. It's really beautiful. Been out there many times. Been river walking. Went out there and made our own barbecue with some friends. A lot of memories out there. And it's pretty cool. You've got these homes just nestled between the mountains. A closer look. This is the supermarket where I used to shop literally like 4 times a week. It still looks the same. It's so surreal being in here. They've got a really good selection too. This is all the produce, and then you got fish over here. I used to buy this salmon all the time. Go home and cook it, squeeze some lemon on it. The price is so reasonable, it's so good. Really, really miss that. I was on an amazing diet when I was in Japan. I got in tip-top shape. Salmon is not hard to come by, and you got these, you got all this sashimi, and at night, a lot of times, they'll discount it because, you know, they have to sell it. And I'm just gonna give you guys a quick walkthrough. More fish. Such good stuff. Give you guys a quick walkthrough so you can see what a simple supermarket in Japan looks like. Small city Japan. Fresh beef, many different cuts. Pork. Little pre-made kebabs. And they've got a pretty decent cheese and butter selection. And when you think about it, the fact that we're in Asia and they've got so many different types of cheese here. And this is a small, we're in the capital city of Gifu Prefecture, but we're kind of on the outskirts of Gifu. So this is basically countryside. And they still have a wide variety of cheese. Like the selection they have, like I recently was in some major cities in China and they didn't have anything close to this. Shows you the difference. And over here in the prepared food section, this will be the same in a lot of supermarkets throughout Japan. They've got all these pre-made prepared foods.
I've eaten most of these. It's the same things that they used to make. They're already a reasonable price, but when it gets close to closing time, they'll cut the price and you can get it at a discount. You can get some really good food for really cheap. And over here is the discount table. They've got stuff marked down, like here's 20% off, 20% off. And of course, it wouldn't be a Japanese supermarket without sushi rolls. And at the end of the night, you also see these discounted. Onigiri rice balls and pre-made sandwiches. And over here you got your umeshu, which is plum wine. You've got a wide variety of it. And then you've got a bunch of different liquor. Of course, you got your suntory. For relaxing times, make it a suntory time. If you guys can name that movie, I'll give you big credit in the comments section. Dairy products, milk, coffee, iced coffee, a bunch of different fruit juices, yogurt. And one really good thing about Japan is you can get actual Greek unsweetened yogurt, like good quality stuff. Sometimes that can be hard to find, and for anybody out there that's health conscious, you know Greek yogurt is good stuff. I'll tell you one thing, they're not stingy with the AC. They're not worried about the electricity bill because it is ice cold in here. Here are a few flavors. I've had this, and this, but the Doctor flavor and Pipeline Punch, haven't had those. Just over here, a bunch of, you know, fruit stuff, canned fish, whatnot. Over here, you've got a bunch of different jelly and jam, honey, instant coffee, and then also like little individual drip cups of coffee, which are really good. And this Genmai Cha, I used to buy this exact one. It's got like, this is basically like crispy rice and green tea mixed and just make tea out of it. It's so good, and it's pretty cheap too. This whole bag is like just $4. Here's a little Chinese restaurant that says Chuka Dainingu Dandan. So it's a Chinese restaurant of some sort. I never actually went there, I don't think. It's been so many years, but I don't have any recollection of going there. Kind of curious if it's an actual Chinese person that runs the place. It's evening. I've been walking all day and I'm starving. I only had one meal. I had brunch today, that's it. That was McDonald's. You guys saw that in the video. I haven't eaten a bite since then. And I'm on this street. This is in the heart of Gifu City. All these tiny little restaurants, and this is where the best food will be at. And you can get an authentic Japanese experience. So I'm just gonna walk through and kind of see what the options are. And sorry, my GoPro battery died, so I've got to resort to the cell phone right now, which this cell phone doesn't have the best camera, but at least it produces an image, right? Well, surprisingly enough, I just didn't see anything over there that looked right. Nothing really appealed to me. All right, I have changed hotels because I've changed cities, and I wanted to show you guys my second hotel room. Quite small, but very clean, very, presentable, and no wasted space. I mean, look, my legs could fit in there, barely. Hey guys, here we are, day 3, another picture perfect day. And I've got a confession to make. Yesterday, I was a bad boy when it comes to food. In the morning, as you know, I had McDonald's because I needed the Wi-Fi and the coffee. It just worked out. It was quick and all that. Well, in the evening, I walked around. I was looking for something to eat, but I also wanted to find a place that had Wi-Fi, and I couldn't find anywhere. And then after walking around for about an hour, I finally took the plunge and just said, okay, I need Wi-Fi, so I'll just take one for the team and have McDonald's again. I tried everything to avoid that. But when I was asking the girl at McDonald's if they have Wi-Fi, she said yes, but it's only for paying customers. I said, well, I'd be glad to order something. And so I did. Ordered something I didn't want. I did not want McDonald's. And then guess what? She was wrong. They didn't even have Wi-Fi. So I wasn't thrilled about that. So today, it's gonna be only Japanese food. And I'm gonna start off with, this is a place that specializes in beef bowls, which are really good. It's kind of like a little fast food beef bowl place. You may have heard of a place called Yoshinoya.
This is similar, it's called Sukiya, and it's pretty good. Let's check it out. So when you walk in this place, it's pretty compact, as many things are here. You can see it's very narrow. You've got the counter area and a few tables in the back. And then you just order with touch screen. All right, guys, so here it is. Got a little salad here. They've got a few dressings. They've got like sesame and French and some other kinds. And of course, miso soup. And this is a beef bowl. Usually you wouldn't see cheese on top of it, but I like it cheesy. So it's just thin sliced beef, cooked really nicely with some onions in it. And then it's over rice. At the bottom of this is a bunch of rice, and then there's beef on top and then cheese. I go heavy on these. I'll do it right now for you. On this pickled ginger, I go heavy on it. I just can't get enough of this stuff. I go pretty heavy on it because I like some with every bite. Well, that was pretty good, and it definitely filled me up. I went a little heavy on the Tabasco sauce though. So it's kind of had me sweating, but it tasted really good. I think I almost screwed that up. Luckily I got my cup in there just in time. Liquid gold, baby. Alright guys, we just got to Osaka City. This is a big city in Japan. It's one of the big ones. And the feeling has totally changed. It's absolutely crowded. You saw when I arrived at the other cities, it wasn't that crowded, but here it's totally different. But you guys are in for some interesting things. We're gonna go out and have some fun. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. And this is one of the downfalls about coming to a place you're not really all that familiar with. You just feel so disoriented. I'm kind of just fumbling around. I don't really know where to go, but that's part of the adventure. We'll figure it out. All right, just what I desperately needed, the subway map. Well, just now, without a local's help, I would pretty much be screwed because I was looking at what I thought was the subway map, but the place I needed to go was not there. And I asked the local guy, and he said, oh, it's a different subway line, so I've got to walk all the way across the whole station. There's no way I would have known that. So the people here are very, very friendly and helpful. Would you believe that the guy who told me which subway line I need to take, because I was going to take the wrong one, would you believe he walked all the way across the station to find me to make sure I was able to get the right ticket? That's what the guy just did. And we talked for about 5 minutes. I wasn't sure if he was going to take the same train, but I thought not, and he wasn't. He specifically came all the way over there. That's a far walk. Just to make sure I was okay. You don't get much nicer than that, so I'm beyond impressed. I'm beyond grateful I met that guy. Didn't get his contact information. I probably should have, but you know, he already gave enough time to me. I didn't want to hold him up anymore. So yeah, this is the line I need. I arrived at Osaka Station, and when you connect with the subway, it's called Umeda. I didn't realize that. So apparently Umeda Station is the same as Osaka Station. It's kind of interesting because these days in China you hardly see any foreign travelers, but here in Japan I've seen so many. Look at that, more and more. In China these days you hardly ever see foreign travelers. Okay, we are at Namba Station, and this is an area known as Dotonbori. As you'll see very soon, it's very popular amongst travelers. It's kind of exciting. There's tons of people out, tons of street food. It's the typical, you know, gaijin place to come, but a ton of locals and even Japanese travelers come here as well. Turn off the street, and here's the main drag as far as the pedestrian street. Already you can get an idea of
what it's gonna be like at night. Everything's gonna light up. It's gonna be crazy out here. And the main thing for me is just to have a little fun and eat a bunch of different foods. Yesterday was an epic fail as far as food go. I had McDonald's for brunch and McDonald's for dinner. That's just unacceptable. So tonight, we're gonna go all out on some Japanese food. And of course, here's the famous crab of Dotonbori. Once you see that, you'll never forget it. I've been here about twice before, but it's been a long time ago. And you've got international travelers literally from all corners of the globe here. It's really a mixed bag. Just walking down the street, you see all different ethnicities, all different nationalities. It's good to see. There used to be parts of China that were like this. Not anymore. You got these bridges that cross the river, and it makes for some amazing scenery. Hi! Here we are still in the same general area, but out of the busiest part, but as you can see, there's still a lot going on back here. My hotel is actually in this area, so I'm right in the heart of it. All right, after many a wrong turn, I'm finally here. This should have been a 10-minute walk. It took me damn near an hour. So here's my Osaka hotel room. Again, it's pretty small, but it's not that small. It's big enough. Clean. Nice bathroom. And right near the action. Right near the action. And I'm paying about 40 bucks a night for this. So not a bad deal, especially considering the city and the location in the city. Well, here it is, everybody. The calm before the storm. Because I'll tell you what, that gyudon that I had this morning, well, it's starting to fade. Actually, it started to fade a few hours ago, and I am starving. But that's by design, because tonight we've got to try a lot of different foods, and I need an appetite for that. So we're gonna try a bunch of different street food, and we're gonna try to make this the ultimate food experience. Now, for some of you Japan vets out there, I will probably fail epically, because even though I lived in Japan for a long time, I never really went too deep into Japanese cuisine. I liked it, but I usually stuck to the same stuff, you know. I didn't really get out there and try all the street foods and stuff. So today, we're gonna do it. Hotel Celine. Just hearing that name, you gotta think that's probably a love hotel. And just to show you guys that I'm not jipping you, we're starting from the top. You can see it's kind of just a quiet street, but look what it becomes. It becomes Dotonbori pedestrian street, and that place is absolutely nuts. It's amazing how it changes, you know. On this side of the street, it's quiet and dead. On that side of the street, you've got people from every part of the globe. And I know I can find any kind of food I want here, so it's a perfect place for a food tour. And hopefully you guys find it entertaining. Found this little Japanese barbecue stand, and they've got Kobe beef. These are expensive. Look at that marbled beef. So, you know, me, I'm a blue-collar guy. I'm getting the Wagyu. But that ain't cheap. That little kebab right there is about $5. There it is, y'all. So let's try. Wow. So a bit sweet, salty, rare. Look at that. Bloody in the middle. It's good vibes out here, you know. It's you see people having a good time. Nobody's like absolutely like smashed and causing trouble. I mean, just everybody's smiling, everybody looks happy. Good vibes out here for sure. Now over here they're selling
an Osaka specialty. It's called takoyaki. It's like little dough balls that are kind of wet-ish and mushy in the middle with octopus. They're okay, but I'm not actually a big fan, and I think I'm gonna take a pass on it. I've had it so many times before, you know, and it's just not one of my favorites. It's definitely worth trying, but I'm gonna take a pass tonight and save the room in my tummy for the other stuff. I see you.
I see you.
Let's check out this bridge. We saw it during the day. Let's see how it looks during the night. A foreigner's doing some street selling. That's interesting to see. Wow. You can see it's pretty lively here. Definitely, you know, it's the typical place where if you come to Japan, if you come to Osaka, you're definitely going to come here. There's lots going on, plenty of good food, and it's interesting, you know. And if you watch a lot of Japan-related content or any movies about Japan, this is a really iconic place, and this scene right here in particular is very iconic. Some of you will know what you're looking at right now. There we go. It's actually kind of interesting. I was just walking on the street and these two girls in front of me, they were speaking Chinese. They don't know I can understand, but yeah, her friend just ditched her, but yeah, they're Chinese. There's so many Chinese people here. Actually, the dude at my hotel, the worker there, he's a Chinese guy. And he was really, really nice. He's from Shandong province, and yeah, he's really cool. So we just came down from that way, and now we're gonna cross the street. It continues, the pedestrian street continues. Well, pedestrian slash vehicle street. It continues, but it looks quieter over here. And actually that's kind of what I want, because there's a lot of stuff over here, but it's kind of hard to get something to eat. Like I saw one place selling sashimi and sushi, and there was a line out the door. So probably over here, I'm guessing I'll be able to find more dining options where there's not such a huge crowd. Quite a few Vietnamese restaurants here. And here's one with an interesting name, Long Din. Vietnamese cuisine. So I'm on this quiet side of the street, and I found this little place that's just hot. It's happening. I mean, this place is awesome. It's full of people, it's small, but it's just, you know, it's crowded. Obviously, they're doing something right. So I decided to pop in. Yeah, what's up? Decided to pop in, and I'm gonna just try a snack and have a beer. This guy's energy is just bringing customers in. He's so friendly and so funny and just such good vibes. Anybody that passes him, I mean, this guy's the reason I came in. And everybody else, they can't help. This has magnetic. You got it. You got it. Morning rush hour. It's so crowded. I mean, so crowded. Shoulder to shoulder. Well, for the first time during this trip, and the only time, I'm taking the actual Japanese bullet train. It's called the Shinkansen. And this is it. Obviously, it's pricier. It's the priciest of the options, but it's also the fastest. This is the Centrair Chubu Airport. Nagoya Airport, in other words. And it's pretty big, pretty nice. Extremely clean, quiet. And here in the airport, like many other places in Japan, like most other places in Japan, they've got recycling and people actually do what they're supposed to. You can see that's all filled with just plastic bottles. If that was back in the West, people would just throw anything in any one. They wouldn't care. But here they, you know, they actually do what they're supposed to. Here's a really cool shop. I'd like to buy one, but they're just a little bit pricey. It's almost $9 for one, but they're so realistic. I like the sashimi one. And look how realistic that is. Tuna. That's great. This is a really nice airport. You're in here, but it feels like you're almost outside in a kind of one of those like outdoor shopping centers or shopping malls or whatever. And a pretty good food selection too. You guys might be able to hear my voice, but I'm kind of feeling it today. I had a little bit too much fun last night, let's just say that. Ended up meeting some cool people. They're in Osaka, and we just started slamming beers down, and next thing you know, I was pretty sloshed. Had a good time though, but I'm definitely kind of paying for it today. Well, as you guys know, last night I went to Osaka, and the plan was to do a big food extravaganza and eat everything I could possibly get my hands on. It didn't really play out that way because, like I said, I ended up meeting some new people, making some new friends, and we kind of just hung out in one spot. And that kind of ended the food tour. And then, of course, as you saw after that, it was karaoke time. But I was having a blast. So I guess, you know, that's what it's all about. So before I go, they've got, you know, these little restaurants here in the airport. And I didn't get enough seafood while I was here. You know, you've got to do like sashimi and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really have a chance to do that much. So I got this little tuna bowl, and there's rice underneath that, and of course some miso soup. One last little taste of Japan before I leave. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, it's what it feels like. The trip's over. It's amazing how quickly time passes. Boarding the flight now, and back to China we go. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Look forward to hearing from you all in the comments section below. And if you would like to support the channel a little bit further, please check me out on patreon.com. Links in the video description below.